Greetings, programs. This is Wretch. Welcome back to Lamplight City. And we are hot on the trail of the Justice Killer, guys. We're in the middle of visiting the work sites of his previous victims, and we also need to go ahead and visit a gentleman by the name of Burley Cause, or at least go to his apartment. A gentleman with a collection of flowers that is somewhat important to us. We'll go ahead and visit him last. In the meantime, let's head to the bridge construction site. Now, this is the infamous bridge that we've heard so much about that's supposed to connect the two sections of the city together.
Huh, they seem to be making pretty decent progress.
Got some guys apparently having their lunch.
Safe for only 25 men at once. I used to draw the line at 2.
Do not work close together. Do not run, jump, or trot. Wow.
I wonder if it would be any fun to tie yourself to that thing and go for a few spins.
Ask the Inquisition.
Excuse me.
Hey, what are you doing here? This is a construction area.
I'm Miles Fordham, a private investigator. I'm looking into the murder of a man who used to work here.
Fordham? You the same man who got Laura Dupre arrested?
Yes, that's right.
Ah, good to meet you. I'm Gerard. My sister Amelie used to work as her cook. Would tell me stories about how horrible Dupre was.
Oh.
Good to see some justice done for a change.
Glad to be of service. And good to meet you as well, Gerard.
So you say you looking into a murder? You talking about Bowditch?
Yes, that's right. I had a few questions for you, if you don't mind.
Nah, should be okay to talk for a few minutes.
If we didn't get Dupree, I wonder if he'd have anything to do with us.
You worked with Ennis Bowditch, right? What can you tell me about him?
Ennis was fun to talk to, always telling stories. Pretty sure most of them were made up. But it made time go by faster while we worked, and he made me laugh. We weren't really friends, but it's duller without him around, you know?
Do you know what Bowditch did on his off time?
Not really. I only saw him on the job. But I know he was seeing a woman. I forget what he said her name was, though.
Did he mention anything else about her?
Oh, sure, but I don't think they're the type of thing that would help you, if you get my meaning.
Right. Anything of a non-personal nature that might help me find her?
Yes, he mentioned she worked as the serving girl at the ruined coffee house.
I see. Thanks.
Looks like we're going back to the ruin.
Do you know any details concerning Bowditch's murder?
I only found out when the boss man told us.
Can you think of anyone who might have wanted him dead?
Well, everyone here liked him. I don't think he owed no one money or nothing like that. But maybe someone at his other job wasn't so friendly with him. Who knows?
Other job?
Ennis also worked at the docks as a longshoreman.
Well, that would have been handy to know sooner. Better late than never, I guess.
Well, he definitely seems more well-liked than the other 2 victims. Or was it 3 victims that we've investigated?
Are you familiar with the Justice Killer?
Justice Killer? No, I don't know anything about that. Who is he?
A serial murderer. He's the one who killed Ennis Bowditch.
And you trying to find him?
That's the plan.
Well then, I wish you luck. Ennis didn't deserve to die the way he did. I hope that murdering bastard gets what he deserves.
So, the Gascon-Chumley Bridge is finally being worked on.
That's right. The project started up again shortly after the election. That Leroy, he's not wasting any time. Maybe a good thing for this city and for the country.
Indeed. I think it will be. How long before the bridge is complete, do you think?
They say it will take 5 years, but who knows? As long as the work is steady, you won't find me complaining.
Do you normally work in construction?
Mostly. Sometimes I be doing other jobs here and there. But I'm lucky to have gotten this job. I think it will keep me in work for a long time. Which is good, because I have 3 mouths to feed at home.
Be sure to watch yourself, then. I hear these types of jobs can be dangerous.
Oh, believe me, I know. One slip up and bam! That's the end of you. But I always watch myself.
Good deal.
How's your sister doing?
Good. She still works for the Dupre family, but with that monster Laura gone, she's much happier. She tells me the family is acting like the madame never existed, and the husband raised Amelie's pay, too.
That does sound like an improvement.
It's just a shame 2 others had to die for it.
Thank you, Gerard. I appreciate the information.
Not a problem, boss.
At least 2. There doesn't seem to be anything else here. Let's see if it disappears from the map. No, it didn't disappear from the map, but we do have the docks to go visit as well. Thorbum Ironworks.
This place sure is big. I wonder if they actually make anything useful. Well, that doesn't look good.
Ooh, I wonder if the, what were their name? The Redites? They destroyed the iron mill. So they don't like any kind of machinery. Hello?
Excuse me, sir. Are you in charge here?
Unfortunately. Who are you? This area isn't open to the public.
I'm Miles Fordham, and I'm a private investigator looking into the murder of one of your workers.
A private investigator, eh? And maybe you can help me out.
I'll do what I can, but I'll need to ask you some questions, Mr.
Mims. Sanford Mims. Go ahead, but make it snappy.
What can you tell me about Hannibal Kirkland? A former employee here?
Listen, I've got a lot on my mind right now.
I understand, but it's important to my investigation that you tell me what you know about him.
I'm sure it is, but as you can see, I've got a lot to deal with right now.
Well, he's no help. Maybe you can figure out a way to help him help us.
We're gonna have to scratch it back, huh?
What happened to your iron mill?
What's it look like? The damn thing went and got blown up.
Was it in disrepair?
Of course not. All my machinery is sound, checked and serviced regularly. This is the work of those goddamn Redites. I'm sure of it.
What makes you certain the explosion was the Redites doing?
Take a look, boy. The whole mill got taken out. Even if this had been a mechanical failure, which it wasn't, the explosion would have been contained to a single part of the machine. This couldn't have been anything other than sabotage.
Have you had problems with the Redites before?
They've sent anonymous letters, but this is the first time they've actually carried out one of their threats.
You're absolutely sure this was sabotage, then?
Yes. How many times have I got to tell you that? Listen, you said you were an investigator, right? So find out who did this to my machine. If you do, I'll help you out with whatever else you wanted to ask me about.
Looks like we haven't got much of a choice. He seems pretty upset about his machine.
I'll see what I can do.
Great.
How long have you been the foreman here?
Sometimes I think it's been too long. Things were so much easier before we got these machines. They keep saying they're supposed to improve our lives, but they've been nothing but trouble. I've already had 5 of my best men get mangled by some of them. And then there's these damn fools blowing things up. My hair wasn't this gray 5 years ago, you know. I swear one of these days, I'm just going to pack it all up and retire. Let someone else deal with these damn things.
Are you familiar with the Justice Killer?
The who?
He's a serial murderer who's killed 5 men over the past 4 months.
Is that right? Never heard of him.
He may have killed one of your men. Weren't the police here asking about it?
Oh, is that what that was all about? I know they came poking around here a while back, but I was busy dealing with other things.
It's nice to see the lines of communication here are wide open.
Right? Okay.
I'll be going now.
Be careful on your way out.
Iron mill.
Completely ruined. Whoever sabotaged this knew what they were doing. Completely ruined.
So do we need a to employee area?
Hey, that area is for workers only.
My apologies.
Interesting. Maybe the police have some further info for us.
Chief Snelling?
Yes, Fordham?
Have you got any information on the Redites?
The Redites? That ridiculous gang of troublemakers? Yes, I have some information. What's your interest in them?
A witness is refusing to speak with me unless I can figure out who sabotaged his iron mill.
I see. All I can offer is a list of names of known Redites along with their last known whereabouts. But I remind you that you only have until tomorrow afternoon before this indulgence expires, and I throw you in jail. This seems like a waste of time.
That's my decision to make.
Very well. I'll give you the list when you're ready to leave.
I need to get back to my investigation.
Yes. Time is not on your side, Fordham. Here you are. This is the most recent list of known Redites.
Neat. Clovis Sullivan, suspect in 3...
This is a lot of names. If we're going to track down this saboteur, it might be best to retire to a more tranquil environment. Fancy a trip back to Upton's?
Clovis Sullivan, suspect in 3 instances of sabotage. La Chosa, Western Vespuccia. Guy McKee, arrested in charges of attempted murder. Darlinghurst Prison, 15-year sentence. Paris Wilson, suspect in 2 instances of sabotage. 5 Hanover St. Worcester. Marcus Chapman, involved in factory explosion, deceased. Peyton Ferguson, suspect in 6 instances of sabotage. 19th St. Louis Road, Gascon. Lucian Donaldson, suspect in 4 instances. 469 Bainbridge, Worcester. Alright, guess we're going back to Upton's.
Right. This should be a quiet enough spot to concentrate on finding that saboteur. I just hope Upton doesn't mind you turning her parlor into your own personal study.
I'm sure she'll have no objection. Now, let's have a look at that list again.
1840 to 1844.
I think we can rule out Mr. Sullivan as a suspect. He's Western Vespuccia's problem now. Unless Mr. McKee has escaped from prison, which I highly doubt, he's not our man. This might be who we're looking for, but it also might not be.
No harm in paying him a visit, except losing time in our other investigation.
If dead men could cause explosions, let's just say things would be a lot different. This clearly isn't the right suspect. It's possible that this is who we're looking for, but without some way to be absolutely sure, we're in danger of wasting precious time.
I'm not usually the gambling type, but a 1 in 3 chance doesn't strike me as the best odds.
Agreed.
This might be who we're looking for, but it also might not be.
We could pay him a visit. Who knows? We might get lucky.
Is there anything else here that we need to... Alright. Well, let's head back out. Are those areas now on the map? Oh, good lord. Let's head back to the ironworks and see if maybe he knows anyone. Could be an inside job.
Mr. Mims, a word if you wouldn't mind?
Yes, what is it?
Are you sure you can't tell me anything about Hannibal Kirkland?
It's like I've told you.
Okay.
I'll be going.
Be careful.
I can't go to the
No
employee.
way we'll be able to go down there right now.
So I think we're going to leave this to the side at the moment. Let's go ahead and... We've got the ruined coffee house, we've got the docks, and we've got Burley Cause's apartment. Let's go to the apartment first.
Apartment 2A. This is the place. The number is a bit faded. Is this 2B, or is it not 2B? That's the question.
Oh, damn it, Bill.
And I thought the housekeeping in my apartment was bad. There doesn't seem to be anyone at home.
Tragic.
There doesn't seem to be anyone at home.
You're not getting the hint, game. Let's try 2B.
Yeah? May I help you, young man?
Hello, madam. My name is Miles Fordham, and I'm a private investigator. I have some questions about your neighbor.
You mean my former neighbor?
Yes. In any case, I'd appreciate it if you could help me with some information.
Nah, I don't think so. The last person to ask me about him was that awful policeman. I don't want to have to go through that again.
I'm sorry you had a bad experience, but I can assure you I won't give you a hard time.
Well, that's easy for you to say, but actions speak louder than words.
Uh-oh. I think I know where this is going.
Is there anything I can do for you then?
Well, since you asked, my layabout husband is out wasting our retirement fund with his drinking. Go find him and bring him back here. Then maybe we can talk.
Oh, wonderful. Now we're playing babysitter.
You'll find him at the Silent Raven. It's not too far from here.
Yes, I know it.
Good.
Yeah.
My husband's name is Kurt Williamson. You tell him his wife Ethel wants him home at once.
I'll do my best, Mrs. Williamson.
Could be worse. Could be at the opium den. Alrighty. Let's head to the Raven. Ah, no one's cleaned up the murder site.
Looks like they haven't bothered cleaning this up yet.
Good times in the drain. Oh, and look, the barmaid's still here. Have a chat with Kurt first.
Excuse me, are you Kurt Williamson?
That's right. Who are you?
Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator.
Oh, yeah? What is it you want from me?
Ethel sent me to tell you she wants you to come home right away.
I should have known. I can't get away for more than a few hours before she's put the entire city on high alert. How much of my retirement fund did she waste on getting you to come down here?
I'm only doing this because I need some information.
The joke's on you, then. You can just go back and tell her I'll come home when I'm damn well ready.
Why is it you're so averse to returning home?
I enjoy going out and having a good time. Is that so wrong?
Your wife told me she doesn't like you spending your money on drink.
What I spend my money on is none of her business, and even less of yours. What's this world coming to when a man can't even drink in peace without all his affairs shouted from the rooftops?
You know, this whole situation seems awfully familiar.
Yeah. And what kind of affairs are you talking about there, Kurt?
Listen, Mr. Williamson, I think I know what you're going through.
Oh, yeah?
My wife and I were having a rough patch. I wasn't being honest with her, and it nearly drove us apart.
But you managed to fix things.
Yes, I was fortunate. I did the right thing before it was too late.
And what did you do?
Yeah, I told her the truth. Yeah.
It was simple. I just communicated honestly and openly with her. I told her what was wrong and how I was feeling. And you know what? She listened. Have you ever told Ethel why you like going out?
No. I assumed she wouldn't understand. I really wish she would come out with me, but I know she'd never agree.
How do you know? Have you actually talked to her about this?
Well, no.
Well, then maybe you should. If she knew you wanted company, she might just give it a try.
You know, I never thought of it like that. I'm going to go home right now and tell her. And if she refuses, well, at least I asked, right?
That's the spirit.
Thanks for the advice, friend. I really do appreciate it.
And if we hadn't made up with Adelaide, I bet that wouldn't have been.
Not bad. I have to say, I'm impressed.
I bet that wouldn't have been available. Hey, barmaid.
Excuse me, barmaid?
Hi, what do you need?
It's been a while. Oh.
Do you know anything about the man sitting at that table over there?
Whoops.
Not really. He comes in here a few times a week, but he mostly keeps to himself. I see his type all the time, though. Older, probably retired and looking to escape his home life. I feel sorry for him, but that sort of customer is my bread and butter.
So she may be the fallback in case you're not able to convince him otherwise.
Are you familiar with the Justice Killer?
What is that, some fancy drink concoction?
No. It's the name that's been given to a serial murderer here in the Chum.
I see. Never heard of him. And if he's smart, he won't show his face around here.
You know, this place suddenly feels just a little bit safer.
The watchful protector.
How are things here now that the election hubbub has subsided?
Oh, right. I thought you looked familiar. You were the one in here asking about the fellow who was killed.
That's right.
Well, there hasn't been too much excitement since then. I've hardly had to toss anyone out, which is a right shame.
Why's that?
Kicking out a rowdy customer shakes things up a bit on a quiet night like this. Gets the blood flowing, you know?
Ejection policy, that's how... Okay, gotcha.
I appreciate you taking the time to chat.
Yeah.
Don't think we need to deal with you right now, ma'am, so we will go ahead and take our leave. We use the open hand instead of the closed fist, or open palm. Yep, and the raven is gone. Hopefully we don't interrupt anything.
Ah, Mr. Fordham, thank you so much for getting Kurt back home.
Don't mention it. Now, would you be willing to answer some questions?
Why, yes, of course.
Tell me what you know about Burley Cause.
He and his wife hadn't been living next door very long, maybe 4 months or so. But I didn't talk to either of them very much. They weren't interested in being neighborly, I guess. It's a shame, really. Maybe if we had known one another better, something like this could have been prevented.
Causes murder. Oh, yeah.
What happened on the day Mr. Cause was killed?
He was killed, wasn't he?
I was here, at home, doing my knitting as usual. All of a sudden, I heard a loud bang. It sounded like a gunshot. I went and knocked on Mrs. Cause's door, but there was no answer. I did notice a smell, though, like flowers. Something seemed wrong, so I decided to report the incident to the police. Not long after that, an officer showed up and started asking questions. Awful man he was, so rude. I gotta report him, but I forgot his name. I think it started with a P.
Parsons?
Yes, that's him. He called for some more officers, and they got into the apartment. That's when I found out Mr. Cause had been murdered.
All right, sorry about that, guys. For some reason, I remember in the court proceeding, we were told that someone had a huge collection of lilies. And, okay, I got confuzzled. Wasn't the first time. Won't be the last.
Where is Mrs. Cause now?
I don't know, with her mother, maybe. That's usually how it goes.
You wouldn't happen to know where that is, would you?
Afraid not, but there is one other thing.
Yes?
Don't say I told you this, but, well, I used to hear the two of them through my wall. I tried ignoring it since it's really none of my business, but it became impossible.
What was it you heard?
I don't believe they had a happy marriage. They'd have awful fights a couple times a week.
What would they fight about?
Oh, all sorts of things. The worst one was when she discovered he was going to a brothel. I think he might have hit her on a few occasions, too, but I can't be certain. I hope you don't think me a horrible old gossip, but I thought you might like to know.
Not at all. I'm glad you told me.
So we've got a second incident of abuse.
Are you familiar with the Justice Killer?
You mean the serial killer who's been killing men in Chumley?
That's the one.
Nah, never heard of him.
What?
I'm just pulling your leg, Mr. Fordham.
I like this one. She's got spirit.
Unfortunately, I only know what I've read in the Gazette, but it's scary to think some maniac is loose on the streets doing such terrible things. And with Kurt going out by himself for hours at a time, oh, I don't like it one bit.
How long have you been living here?
Well, Kurt and I moved in shortly after we were married, so it's been about 34 years.
Goodness, that's a long time to be living in one place.
Yes, well, the building may be a bit run down, and it gets colder than cold in the winter, but the rent has always been cheap. You can't really ask for much more than that.
I appreciate your time, Mrs. Williamson.
Have a good day, Mr. Fordham.
So we're on the hunt for... Can we just open the door now?
There doesn't seem to be anyone at home.
Okay. Well, where to now? Because that just disappeared. The Houses of Parliament, the bridge construction site again. Let's head to the docks.
This sign could use a fresh coat of paint.
Shipping office.
Blank surfaces don't stay that way for very long around here. Blank surfaces don't...
I'm not sure what that says there in the distance. Rich Wing?
Ah, the chum. You can never truly get away from it as much as you may try. What, you want me to howl at it or something?
Maybe. Trevor Hastings.
Trevor Hastings, is that you?
Why, Detective Fordham. Fancy seeing you again. What brings you down to the docks?
I'm trying to track down a serial murderer, who I believe is the same man who was breaking into the flower shop.
You don't say. I wish I could help you, but the guy never came back after the night you and your partner came around. Where is your partner anyway?
Oh.
Oh, he's around.
Well, give him my regards. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to get this crate back, or Cecilia will have my head on a platter.
Of course. Good seeing you again.
He's around? That's probably the most clever thing you've said in months. Well done.
Okay. So...
Keep up the good work, Mr. Hastings. Keep up the good work, Mr. Hastings.
Moon. Doesn't look like there's anywhere else we can go.
Ah, the chum.
Oh, well, I guess the shipping office might be a clue.
Huh? What? Who is it?
Hi.
Hello, sir. I was wondering if I could ask you a few questions.
Go ahead, but make it quick. Time is money, after all.
Did you employ a man named Ennis Bowditch?
I did, yes. He only worked for me occasionally, but he was always punctual and performed his job well. I learned recently that he had been killed. It was a tremendous shame. Workers of his caliber are so hard to come by.
Do you have any information relating to Mr. Bowditch's murder?
I'm afraid not. The truth is, I knew very little about him. It's the same with most of my men. I have a business to run, you see. It affords me very little time to socialize.
Are you familiar with the Justice Killer?
I believe I saw a headline in the newspaper recently mentioning that name, but I dismissed it as fear-mongering nonsense. There are more important things I need to worry about.
But the Justice Killer is directly responsible for the death of one of your workers.
Oh? Is that right? Well, there's nothing I can do about it. What my men get up to in their off time is none of my business.
Wow, this guy is even worse than you, Miles.
Yowza.
What does your work here involve?
I'm in charge of tracking and cataloging all the cargo that passes through here. I receive the shipping manifest and make sure that things get unloaded and sent to the right places.
And you do all this by yourself?
Well, of course not. I'm in charge of administration. A team of workers does all the heavy lifting.
Thank you for your time. I'll let you return to work.
Right you are.
Reminds me of the doorman from The Wizard of Oz. No one can see the Justice Killer. No way, no how. Looks like we may have to head back to the docks. Okay, let's head to the ruined coffee house. Seems a bit less lively.
Asleep at a coffee house. One of life's little ironies.
Feels weird with Upton not being here.
Not in much of a hurry to clean up in here, are they?
And she's not moving back and forth like a madwoman.
Begging your pardon, miss.
How can I help you, sir?
I understand you were involved with Ennis Bowditch.
Was involved, yes. I haven't spoken to him in nearly 2 months.
Oh, were you not aware of his death then?
What? Ennis is dead?
Well, this is awkward.
Indeed. I'm sorry to have to be the bearer of bad news.
How did it happen?
I'm afraid he was murdered.
Murdered? By who? And And why?
Those are exactly the questions I'm trying to answer myself.
Oh, I see. Are you a detective?
A private investigator, yes.
Well, I'll answer what I can. If it helps any, that is.
I'm certain it will. What was your relationship with Mr. Bowditch like?
Oh, well, it was nice at first. He was a proper gentleman-like. But then something changed.
Oh?
It's like I told Ruby. I think he might have got hit on the head at work, because he seemed to be a completely different person. He'd get angry for no reason. He even... Well, that bit's not important. At first, I thought he was just going through some rough times, but after a while I realized he'd changed for the worse. So I broke things off. He wasn't too happy about it, but I wasn't going to stick with a man like that.
And there's the other link. It all has to revolve around domestic abuse.
This friend of yours, Ruby, did she know an MP named Percival McDonough?
I'm not sure. Ruby knows a lot of men.
Is that so?
Well, no, I don't mean... It's just... Oh, damn it all, me and my big mouth. She'll have my guts for garters now.
It's all right. No one's in trouble. But I think I'd like to speak with Ruby. Could you tell me where I can find her?
No. You see, she moves around quite a lot. Never in the same place for more than a night or two.
Right. I think she's given us a clear picture of what Ruby does for a living. Normally, I'd be all for pressing this girl more until she cracks, but I like her. I think we'll be able to find Ruby without causing her more discomfort.
Well, thank you for the information. You've been very helpful.
Objective added. Okay.
Are you familiar with the Justice Killer?
Justice Killer? Is that some kind of pesticide?
No, it isn't. Never mind. You've been working here for quite a while, haven't you?
I have, yes. Coming up on 3 years. Been a real pleasure getting to know all the regulars. They've come to be sort of like a second family. By the way, whatever happened with you and your lady friend?
I beg your pardon?
Well, that nice lady you met in here a couple of times. Did it work out between the two of you?
Oh, that? No, that was strictly business.
Right. Well, if you see her, tell her I said hello.
I'll let you get back to work.
Thank you, sir.
Well, looks like we need to track down Ruby as well. Holy crap. This web just gets more and more tangled. You have to find some way to track her down. You figured the docks would be a good location to start searching, but... Alright guys, well I think we will go ahead and end the episode here, and we will pick it up next time. Apologies for getting that mixed up earlier, but there's a lot of names and a lot of threads to unweave here in this case. But if y'all liked the episode, please leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, that'd be a big help. And we'll see you next time. Later days, everyone.